I am back at the Eagle's Nest. I can tell you I'm very frustrated right now because my my little tribe that I have down here. Someone suggested let's go to Vice President Harris's rally in Georgia. And I'm like, cool. Because all we got to do is hop on 95, go north. We're going to get there in about 2 hours. No problem. And the idea was to stay there until Monday. Today is Sunday, and I am back at the Eagle's Nest. So, through the stuff, in my overnight bag, I'm ready, swimwear, all of that, beach wear, all of that, walking around, brunch wear, whatever. And we get there, and that city was at an all-time high for tourists for different reasons. You had a lot of the political crew were in fact in Savannah. You had a lot of people from all parts of the world wanted to make, I guess, their vacation for Labor Day in Savannah. That don't include a certain population are preparing for one of the largest HBCU events that will be held in Savannah, right? So there's people crawling wall to wall. Now, the person who invited us said she had everything planned in the range. All we need to do is get in the car and let's go. Let's start with number one. When it was time to check, oh, I meant to tell you, this was Friday when she told us, and we left Friday. So, mistake number one, we get there and I'm like, okay, where are we staying at? What do you mean? Which hotel are we staying at? She said, I thought y'all were going to want to choose your own, but please keep in mind, we rode in her truck because she told everybody else, you ain't got to worry about it. We're going to all be together anyway. That was red flag number one. So all of us suggested our preferred hotels. Let's see if we can get a room here and then all of us can stay here. You get what I'm saying? So I knew the one hotel in Savannah that I'm not going to have a problem getting a room there, right? But I didn't think that all the way through. They didn't have a room, they were sold out. I even tried my little secret trick. I tell you now what it is. Now, if they won't give you the room, you got to make sure nobody in line or nobody around you when you do this right here. Always make sure you have three single $100 bills in your hand, purse, or somewhere on your person. So when you slide your license and your form of payment to them, always make sure it's almost visible that you have money in your hand. Okay. Not to pay cash for the room, but sometimes you have to bribe people to get what you need. I admit I've done this a lot. Okay. Because I'm tired and I've been on the road. I need a room and I only stay certain places. But anyway, so I was standing there. That's trick number one. This is the second trick. I said, any more flights going out today or tomorrow? Any overnight flights before they head back out tomorrow? Any? And then he said, well, not that I know of. I say, so who are going to sleep in those pilot rooms? Because in most hotels, there are rooms near airports, let me say that they have rooms that are designated for flight for pilots and flight attendants. and those rooms are blocked off, so you can't book them, and they always have somewhere to stay and lay over. I that didn't work. So I was like, so what could you find if, we gave you $300? Like, what could you find? It was like, ma'am, we are completely booked all the way up through Tuesday. At that point, I gave up. That was my choice preferred hotel. I let them try. No luck for them. And then I came up with the idea. I said, well, we could stay at a Holiday Inn Express. I said, it may not be what we would prefer to sleep at, but I know for a fact they have nice, amenities, and the facilities are usually clean, great management, never had a problem with. Now they fucking fussing and jucking. I didn't say the F word. I said fussing and jucking about they don't want to stay at the Holiday Inn Express. So then it was decided we'll figure this out after we see the rally and everything and kind of enjoy this a bit. You know what the problem with that is? That lady was there on Thursday. That lady was there on Thursday. That lady was not down there on Friday. That's the problem. That's the problem. So people wonder why I am so anal retentive about traveling and planning and organizing, knowing where you're gonna be, what you're gonna do, how long it take you to get there, how much it's gonna cost, and have that already in place before you get your behind in your car and push damn button before you start that darn car up, before you start that darn truck up. These are things that need to be known well in advance. So now I'm really peed off. Really, really, really peed off. Okay? Because now you wasted time. Anyway, we romped around a little bit. I mean, Peacemaker of the group was like, I think we're all just hungry and a little stressed. So why don't we go get something to eat, kind of simmer down a little bit? And I'm like, okay, you're right. You right. I do need to simmer down before I beat her down. You right. You are right. So we did go get something to eat, but please keep in mind we had to wait 2 hours on a wait list because we didn't have a reservation to be able to eat. Did you hear what I just said? Okay. 2 hours. And everywhere were booked like this. They were crawling wall to wall. People were shoulder to shoulder. Honey, it was a hot, funky mess. I'm serious, funky, because apparently people don't believe in wearing deodorant anymore. I digress. It's already dark. It's getting late. It's reaching 10:30, right? By the time we got out there. Now we go back to the initial question. Where are we sleeping? Where are we going? Then they had the idea to drive out near the airport because on the little GPS list when they put in hotels, a lot of them were on a you know, it kept saying Pooler, Pooler, Pooler. So we found our way to Pooler. They're sold out. They're sold out. Completely sold out. What was her suggestion? I'm not gonna speak her name. What was her suggestion? We can always let the seats down, grab an air mattress, and we can just sleep in the truck. When have you ever known grown behind women to get air mattresses and sleep in a truck? Like, I'm starting to feel like at that point, like I don't think she had the money to travel with. And I think she had too much pride to let at least one of us know, hey, I'm gonna need one of you to take care of looking for a hotel, or I'm gonna need one of you to cover your hotel, or y'all gonna have to cover your hotels, and I stay with one of you because I'm doing all the driving, right? I don't think I think because of pride, she did not say anything. And that frustrated me more because we all have uh, all kinds of points. You get what I'm saying? All kinds of points we can use for stuff. We could have got rooms for free. No doubt. We have the points. Even if you don't have the cash money, I always tell people, always make sure you join some kind of point club or something. You wouldn't, don't even think about it. Just let them points accumulate. And if something come up, family funeral, new baby, family emergency, you always have the points to cash in and get that round trip flight if you need it. If you need a hotel room, you get what I'm saying? Use your flights points for your airfare and use your points for your hotels to book your room. That takes off a whole lot of stress. It's just you use points. And so because of that, you can use point. We could have used points. Even if we were coming up the road, I'm still sure that somehow we would have been able to find rooms if we were booking them using points or on the road, because they'll ask you, are you a such and such member? Are you one of our gold members? Are you one of our platinum members? Are you one of our diamond members? And those categories, they have a lot of privileges that most people don't use. We could have got the rooms, y'all. We, we could have, between the three of us, put the points together. And anyway, so I'm basically experiencing something I did all the way in my early 20s, like 21, 22, when we have decided to jump our behind in the car and drive all the way to Myrtle Beach for Black Biker Week. When we done decided to jump our behind in the car and drive all the way to Miami. We done decided to jump our behind in the car and drive all the way to what was it? Virginia Beach, when we have already decided to jump our behind in the car and drive all the way to Memphis. That's the kind of stupid, harebrained ideas you have when you're in your 20s, young 20s. You ain't got good sense. But at our ripe old age, menopause beating at our door, and you telling us to sleep in a truck with an air mattress. So what ended up happening was we had to drive all the way to South Carolina to find a room. Yeah, we had to drive all the way to South Carolina to find a room. We finally found a room in Beaufort. We did everything else that was close to the city, as far as Savannah. If it was right outside of Savannah, they were booked too. So we had to drive all the way to Beaufort. And there, by God's mercy, grace, love, tenderness, we got a room. We got rooms, right? And I just wanted to be able to see. I didn't even necessarily need to be close. I just wanted to be in that moment, in that space, so I can hear, I can look around, I can see it, I can observe. I wanted to see what other entities were there involved with the the rally and everything. There are things that I like to lay my eyes on during presidential campaigns on both sides. I just put it that way because I'm tracking something. I'm looking for something, and you're not gonna find it if you have tunnel vision. You got to look, but right and left. You got to look all around you. But anyway, I I just made it kind of clear last night that I don't think it's a good idea for us to stay until Monday. Um, I think it's just best for us to go home in the morning. And the other, two were like, yeah, I think so too, because this became something that we weren't told and we're not comfortable with. When you don't plan, you spend more money, you have a higher stress level, and that's not fun, in my opinion. But I hate the opportunity to just lay eyes on her. I hate the opportunity to hear her words, her thoughts, and just see how she interacts with other people. Because for all of this time, Vice President Harris, she's been pretty they pushed her back from the main front until now they really have her very forward facing. And I dislike how they kind of pushed her back and didn't allow her to truly flourish, show her presence, her contributions to the administration. Personally had a problem with that, and I just felt like it was because of her race, and her culture. As far as being a black woman, and she's also Indian as well. She's not just black; she's also Indian, and I want to acknowledge that. Right? I want to acknowledge that because that is part of who she is, and how she was parented is different than growing up in a complete black home, you know. It's just a cultural difference. And, for the most part, she wasn't around her black relatives or didn't see much of her dad, So it's, I get it. I get it. Anyway, I'm frustrated right now. I just got back probably about an hour ago because now it's 1:27. So I I should have known better. I don't like trusting people to take me nowhere. I don't like trusting nobody. I like having my own stuff, my own car. I like being able to move around the way I want to without depending on anybody else, putting myself at risk of other people's poor decisions. I don't like that. And that's what I experienced. Um, I didn't get to experience what I wanted to, and I hate that. I've been to all kinds of presidential rallies and stuff, and I always enjoy them because I get to see the people who are supporting them, what demographics showed up, what was their temperament, what were their norms between them as a group, as a collective, you know. It just frustrates me. I didn't get to see that, but I do want to give you a very important piece of information about why it was significant that Vice President Harris stopped in Savannah and why you will notice that most black politicians stopped in Savannah, Georgia. I'm about to tell you why. Number one, before the 1964 Civil Rights Act, 9 months before then, Savannah, Georgia had already implemented it. They were already doing it. Yeah, decided by a non black judge after seeing the atrocities of how they were being treated as blacks in Savannah. And he had a problem with it. A lot of them had a problem with it. And they passed that amendment in their city. And so before the country had that privilege, Savannah, Georgia had it already. Okay. Number two, the oldest black church in America, it's in Savannah, Georgia. And an actual slave house, okay? An actual preserved slave house is right there in Savannah, Georgia. And you can tour it, you can see their beds. the inhumane conditions where they stayed. But another thing you need to know about Savannah, Georgia, it was a huge part of the Underground Railroad. Massive, massive. You can still see the markings. If you know where to go, you can still see the markings that they made to communicate with slaves, which direction to go, where to go, and all of that. And in that historic Black church, they would hide inside of the walls. They would hide inside of the walls of the church until they were led underground to the waterfront, which you all call River Street. Yeah, people love saying they love going to Savannah and all of this and that, but the favorite parts of the city are the squares where people used to be hung. And the other scary thing about Savannah is that everywhere you're walking downtown that are prevalent for or for tourists, they're walking on the bodies of slaves. All of those squares and stuff, they built the entire city on top of corpses of slaves. That's no exaggeration. That's not made up or anything. There's a lady that lives in Savannah, and she is a griot. Okay. She's a griot, brilliant woman, beautiful woman. My goodness, she is gorgeous. She's an older lady, but she knows the information and she knows the history down to the letter. Oh, I forgot about the Black woman that started the first school for Blacks in Savannah. Yeah, she did that by herself. And when it was illegal for Blacks to read and write, she made it very public. She was teaching them to read and write. She started a school. It evolved from there, and the school, uh, many schools were named after her. But anyway, so the thing is, that whole area, when I mean, once you go where they call it historic downtown Savannah, they're telling you exactly where to go to walk on top of slaves. Literally, the corpses of slaves. Those were burial grounds for them. And then they decided to put the ballast stones all over them, which are the stones they put at the bottom of the slave ship so that it wouldn't topple over. And so uh, that's kind of the hidden reason why affluent non-Black people like Savannah so much. They like the idea of what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They know. And so when Black political figures come, oh, I forgot the other reason. The real capital, the original capital of Georgia, it was in fact Savannah, Georgia. And it is still entreated as such in a lot of ways. Okay. So it's almost like they understand you have to come to Savannah. If you want anything done, you have to come. And so that's why you see all of these different figures, and people are like, why would they come down there? Why would they go there? I mean, it's a tourist city. It doesn't make sense. This is a this is what you call a political powerhouse. You have celebrities who vacation here, and you also have high profile politicians who stay here. So that's why I was like, I don't want to be here. When we didn't get to do what we wanted to do. We didn't. And I hate that. I just, you're not going to get a chance like that again. You know, we're just not. It's one thing to see someone after their presidency, but it's different when you see them before they're elected. It's just different. And I'm disappointed. I think what they call it, you talk yourself into a garbage bag, or you talk yourself into a brown bag or something. Something my great grandmother used to say. I forgot what it was. But Here I am in love with this truck. It's over $90,000. And they done told me, yes, apparently it don't went higher than quote unquote, based on the call. It went higher than they thought. And, we need to mediate or something, compromise because of the value of the inventory. They're talking about the truck. Um, what are you? It went from, okay, we'll give it to you, to now, what are you willing to pay? What are you willing to compromise on? Because they can't afford to take that much of a loss. And I'm like, it is, I'm having a hellacious trip. And here comes this. So we'll revisit it on on Tuesday, because their offices are going to be closed for the holidays. That'll give me time to get in touch with Dietrich, and let Dietrich tell me what to do or how to proceed, or just give it to Dietrich and let Dietrich figure it out, because I don't care. I want it. I just cannot afford to pay $100,000 for a truck right now. And it's frustrating because I decided that I got tired of seeing uh, elderly people not be able to get around to their appointments and stuff. And I just hate it, when I might be at the store or something, grabbing something. You seeing elderly people can't reach things on the shelves. They're in scooters, you know, um, or they have surgery. They don't have anybody to go with them on surgery days. They don't have anyone, who can just go out with them and get stuff done. So I decided that by getting the truck, they could be comfortable and just rotate volunteers. You know what I'm saying? Rotate one volunteer this week, one volunteer next week. That way they don't get overwhelmed with the volunteering. Um, and then I found people willing to give up the money to give them a stipend at the end of each one of their weeks for contributing and helping. The elderly population, they're having a lot of barriers right now. And it's heartbreaking. Like, I can't move past it. It's I just remember how uh when my grandmother, she lived with my great grandmother, lived with us until she transitioned, and she had a girlfriend. Her girlfriend name was Miss Louise. Miss Louise didn't have any children. Miss Louise's husband had already passed away. And so my great grandmother, I guess she knew she was getting ready to go. She told my mom, when I'm gone, you take care of Louise for me, okay? You check on Louise. You keep an eye on Louise for me, okay? And my mom did. When my grandma passed away, my mom did not hesitate. She did not pause. She immediately went to being that daughter, for Miss Louise, granddaughter for Miss Louise, taking her to doctor's appointments, going with her to different surgical procedures, like when she had to get her amputations and stuff done. And, both of us going over to the house to clean for her, make sure she was okay, and, buy her food and stuff. Mom was able to get her into it was not a senior facility. It was an apartment complex for the disabled. And so mom was able to get her in one of those. It was really nice. Um, and so mom, just showed us the example of how important it is to take care of the elderly and not forget about them. Not forget about them. And my parents didn't leave to go to Memphis until my mom made it very clear. I'm not leaving until she passed away. I'm not gonna leave. And sure enough, she did. She did. And she didn't leave until it was about a year after Miss Louise had passed away, and then my parents moved. But now it's worse than it was for Miss Louise, because these people do have children. They do have grandchildren. And yet at the same time, they don't have family, and so it's not just an investment for me to ride around and just woohoo. Yeah. I mean, of course I'm gonna have woohoo moments, but that is not my focus. Why would I spend that kind of money on a truck? Why would I do that if I'm not gonna use it for someone's benefit? Let these volunteers help these people. They need food, they need to get out the house, they need to get to their doctor's appointments. They want to go to the movies. They have activities that they want to do, and it's a lot of them not going to church like they used to. They don't have a way to get there. So I just figured that the truck is large enough with the 3 rows and stuff to get them in there and get them, you know, just do what we can, to help them. You know, it, I know I probably sound tired right now, but I am. You can't rest when you stress. I'm not stressed, but I'm just disappointed more than anything. That something I really really value, it didn't happen. So maybe something will come up at another time. In the meantime, I just have to remain prayerful. I've been praying for all candidates involved. I've been doing my part to really just pray for everyone. But I'm just disappointed. I'm not angry. I'm just very, very disappointed because of how much it meant to me. And then on the other side, I'm wondering what is going on with Sister Girl. That she just wasn't willing to let us know what was going on. Or let us know how we could have helped to make this better. And just took all of this on without letting us help her make this happen for all of us, for everyone. I'm just deeply, deeply sorry that she felt like she couldn't say anything, or she shouldn't say anything, or she not gonna say anything because she could have. I mean, one thing about it is we're very resourceful. We know how to get things done. We know how to make a way out of no way. Like the Dukes of Hazzard, make a way out of no way or something like that. Making a way any way we know how. Yeah, that's what they used to say on Dukes of Hazzard. Oh my God, I just realized something. They named that darn car General Lee after that racist man. Oh, now that's why they had that Confederate flag. Hmm. I ain't never noticed it till now. No wonder they ain't doing a reboot for that. I bet you they won't. Mm-mm. Before I go, let me give you another piece of information that most people don't know about the Kennedys and why they were so powerful in politics. They knew how to work both sides of the aisle to get the greater good done. I want you to go back and look at the bills that were signed off that were originated by Ted Kennedy, and you will see an entire package of everything that he did and why what he put in place, they're only building on it now and recycling it now. Or could it be they're forcing it to be implemented now? Everything from health care, everything from No Child Left Behind, all of this stuff. Just go back and read uh, the bills, that he pushed and that were signed off on. He stood up for, that benefited all in this country, primarily the African American community, and it's powerful and profound. Um, but the powerful thing about Ted Kennedy was the man. was a beast. He worked both sides of the aisle seamlessly. He had the kind of temperament that made Republicans want to get on board with what he was doing, right? And so that's the old guard Republicans that Donald Trump, and they're a totally different class of people because, like the Arnold Schwarzenegger said, it's so sad that the Republicans found believe that they couldn't find anyone who were intelligent and capable to run for presidency. Arnold took a very strong position against Donald Trump, and he's been very open about it, especially recently. He's taken a very strong position, but of course, you know who camp he's in. He's in the Kennedy camp. His wife a Kennedy, or his ex-wife, she's a Kennedy, and you can listen to him and tell he's still in that camp. Yeah, he has the power to speak. He does, and nobody ignores him. But please read Ted Kennedy's contributions to Black America and all of America. And you're going to ask yourself, why are we hearing about this again now? If he already did it and talked about it, what are we doing now? That is the question of the hour. Y'all have a good one. I'm going to marinate my meat and lay down and cook me some dinner later. So have a beautiful Labor Day. Just lay in some sun, put your sunglasses on, put your big floppy hat on, and honey, just lay there and let your body be rejuvenated by the sun. Let your melanin be activated to another dimension when the sun kiss your skin, child. Isn't that beautiful about us? Ah, I love it.